Welcome to Ghostly.
Is the Honolulu Airport haunted?
Ghostly is a podcast that comes out every other week except for this month. We're doing weekly episodes now.
It's our favorite month.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
October, Spooktober.
But in each episode, we're going to talk about a ghost story or paranormal event and look into its complete history. Rebecca is going to give you evidence proving that the story is real. And my job is to say that it isn't real, pretty much, and debate those evidence so that you are prepared to vote on if it's real or not. And as always, we're your host. I'm Pat.
And I'm Rebecca.
And we have a very special guest on the episode today. We have Anthony. Anthony was on our Revisiting Resurrection episode.
Yes, Resurrection Mary Revisited. Seriously, my favorite episode we've done. If you haven't listened to it, please do that. We did it a year ago, just about a year ago, right? Because it came out for our 5th anniversary.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Doesn't feel like it.
It doesn't feel like it, but yes, one of my favorites. So, Anthony, we are so happy to have you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be back.
So, okay, Anthony used to work at an airport, and he enjoys airports, you know.
He's got some knowledge about airports.
And he's a world traveler as well. So he's been to a couple of airports in his day.
Absolutely. Been to a lot of airports.
Have you been to Honolulu Airport?
Yes, I have.
How many times have you been there?
Probably 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Oh,
wow.
well, yeah, okay.
Now, you were in the Navy, right?
I was just going to say.
I was in the Navy.
So,
were you stationed there? Did you ever go there in the Navy?
So my boat was ported in Honolulu.
Oh, but you weren't there.
I was there.
Okay.
but it wasn't like he was flying in and out of the airport, I guess.
It's like
no, but we flew into. So I missed the boat per se because I had a family emergency. So I had to fly to Honolulu Airport to meet the boat.
Oh, what a shame, you know.
Okay.
You had to spend time in Hawaii then?
Yeah, it was horrible. It was like a couple of months of just
spam.
Pain.
Just spam.
Yeah, well, so if you haven't figured it out yet, this month our theme is haunted airports.
Yes.
I'm very excited about this theme.
I know, you've been talking about it a lot. So, and Honolulu Airport, it's got a lot of history. It was, actually like an airport before it really became a big city or anything too. So, I mean, it's been around Honolulu has been around in one way or another for 2,000 years as a city, but before it was bigger, like it is now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. So this is the part where we usually do shout outs on Ghostly. Well, we don't have any shout outs today. The ways to get them, the 2 ways to give us a review on Apple Podcast. Always love those 5-star reviews, but we will read any and all reviews that we receive. The second way is to become a member on Patreon. You can go to ghostlypodcast.com and click on Patreon in the menu bar, or you can search for Ghostly Podcast on Patreon, and we have a lot of different tiers to choose from.
Yeah, we really appreciate your support. We don't do this to make money. We do this to any money we make, quote unquote, goes right back into Ghostly and all the fun things we do. So we appreciate the support.
Absolutely.
We do not have a listener mail this week, but we would love to hear from you. If you've got some ghosty stories to share with us, you can send your story via email at info@ghostlypodcast.com or the contact us form on ghostlypodcast.com. Any other ways, Pat?
Yeah, we have our favorite way, actually, is to get like snail mail, to get the real mail, The people don't do that nowadays. When was the last time you wrote a check? That's you sent in the mail. So that's, anyways. But P.O. Box number 264, Geneva, Illinois 60134. That's how you would get it. But you're not going to remember that, so I'm not even going to repeat it twice. So you can write it down. Just go to ghostlypodcast.com and go to the footers, and you'll see them in there.
Absolutely. All right. So this is the time where we would do polls.
Yes.
But what are we doing with the polls?
Oh, yeah. So we're keeping the last episode that we did in September and all October episodes up. So you can vote on any one of those.
Yeah.
Up until the end of October, because we realize There's a lot of episodes coming your way.
And it is hard to keep up with everything. And it is a spooky season, so we know you're going to be going out and doing the spooky things. And so we'll keep them up through October. And we'll talk about the results in November. Now, our last episode, in case you haven't checked it out yet, is on Alton, Illinois, one of the most haunted towns.
You say
in
that
America.
like a Chicagoan.
It's Alton, Illinois. I can't repeat it. And with a very special guest. Mark. So we've got a lot of guests going on at this spooky season.
Sorry, Anthony, you came on the podcast. You need to give me an organ now.
Oh, really?
That's protocol now.
It's a new rule.
I got a spleen. I think I could spare. I don't think I need it.
Nobody needs a spleen, right? It's extra parts.
So go check out ghostlypodcast.com/vote or polls. I'm sorry. Or go to ghostlypodcast.com. Click on polls.
Yep, absolutely.
It'll be on social media too.
Yeah.
Okay, I do have a ghost story. Are we ready to get into this ghostiness?
Ooh, yeah. Let's just do it.
It's time for a spooky tale from our bad girl.
I had an encounter last night that I can't get out of my head. I'm not sure what else to call it other than an encounter. I was at Honolulu International Airport waiting for a flight to San Francisco. I was very tired, and I had had a long day. I was excited to get on the plane and get home. There weren't a lot of people around because it was a late flight, and I was there early since I had already checked out of my hotel and didn't really have anywhere else to go. I was reading my book, and for some reason, I just sensed a presence, and I looked up. At the window, I saw a woman. She was beautiful. Tall, slim, with blonde hair. She was also very upset, and she was crying, with tears streaming down her face. I couldn't hear her, but I could see how upset she was. I wasn't sure what I should do, if she wanted to be left alone or if she needed someone to talk to. After pausing a few moments, I decided that maybe I should say something to her to make sure she was okay. I put my book down and I got up and walked a few steps towards her and just said, "Excuse me, are you okay? Do you need any help?" She didn't look at me. She just kept staring out at the runway with tears streaming down. I noticed that she was dressed in white, and as I started to look at her clothes, I felt like my eyes were getting fuzzy, like I couldn't really see what she was wearing. I realized that my brain had told me she was wearing a suit with a skirt, but as I looked, now it looked more like an undefinable garment. I opened my mouth to say something, but for some reason, I just couldn't find anything to say. So I turned around and decided to head back to my seat and thought I'll just keep an eye on her. But when I sat down and looked back over to the window, she was gone. Now, it's possible she's a very fast walker with very quiet shoes and I just missed her. But with a big airport and not many people there, I really don't know how I could have missed her walking away. I don't know who she was or why she was there, but I hope that someday she finds some peace.
All right, so how much of that is based on any kind of reality?
It is a made-up story about an encounter that people have.
I was going to say, I've seen people in an airport turned around and they were gone because it's a freaking airport. People are walking all over the place. They have business to do there.
Right, but if there's not a lot of people around, you would think you would see this person walk away. But we're not going to get into the debate yet.
Okay. All right, so we're going to take a short break, and then when we return, we're going to get into the history.
Facts. From a skeptic point of view. Facts. He presents it all to you. Facts.
All right, let's just get into the pet facts.
Facts.
Honolulu, which means sheltered harbor or protected bay, kind of ironic given, some of its history, that it's a protected bay, is believed to have been founded as early as 2,000 years ago, as I was saying. The city was firmly established as the major center for the Hawaiian Islands by the mid-1800s, so way before we were there. Hawaii became the Aloha State in 1959, so we didn't even bring it in until 59, when it was formally admitted to the Union as the 50th state. In November 1794, Captain William Brown of Great Britain was the first foreigner to sail into what is now Honolulu Harbor. And of course, we can't take indigenous people's word on that this place was there, so we start our history with the first foreigner going in there. And I say that jokingly because it's ironic that that's one of the first parts of the history.
Yes.
More foreign ships followed, making the port Honolulu a focal point for merchant ships traveling between North America and Asia. Despite the turbulent history of the late, I say turbulent because we're talking about airports and airplanes. There's turbulence, right?
That's funny.
Late 19th century and early 20th century, such as the overthrow of the Hawaiian monarchy, which we did really bad there. We did some bad stuff when it came to that. That was in 1893. Hawaii's annexation by the U.S. in 1898. A large fire in the 1900s, and the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, and, present day history that took out a large part of, Hawaii and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. The fire.
The fire, yeah. Honolulu remained the Hawaiian Islands' capital, largest city and main airport and seaport. Honolulu Airport is known as Daniel K. Anua, in a way, something like that. It's pronounced some way.
We love you, Pat.
It depends. The South Side in me has a different way of pronouncing this than anything else.
In a way, and now way, right?
Yeah.
Anthony is kind of the
I'd
two
have
way.
to say in a wild way.
In a Huawei? In a Huawei, yeah. International Airport. The airport opened on March 21st, 1927. So before it became a state, it already had its airport. It was open as John Rogers Airport. Doesn't sound like an indigenous person to Hawaii, though.
No.
So
Sounds like an actor.
Yeah, right. He was a World War I naval officer, John Rogers. It was funded by the territorial legislature and the Chamber of Commerce, and it was the first full airport in Hawaii. How many airports are in Hawaii now?
Well, there's definitely Honolulu.
Yeah.
And then there's one in Maui. There's one in Kauai. I'm not sure the name of the other island, but there's one in the Big Island.
Wow.
So there's a bunch of airports.
Yeah.
There.
Wow.
And some of them, I'm sure, are like because people take smaller planes to island hop too, right?
Yeah.
So there's probably a lot of little airports around. Yeah.
And that's what Honolulu started as. It was like small landing strips with fields and seaplane docks.
Okay.
So you would have to land in like the ocean or something, or the sea or whatever right there.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. military grounded all civil aircraft and took over all civil airports after the attack on Pearl Harbor. And Rogers Field was designated Naval Air Station Honolulu.
Interesting. So, like all civil airports in Hawaii or around the country? I guess I don't know my World War II history well enough to answer that
because
question.
of Pearl Harbor.
Right. I mean, makes me think of I always think of the attack on the World Trade Center. Like that's the only time we've shut down all the airports. But
this wasn't a shutdown. This was a takeover.
A takeover. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a little different.
But sure. Okay.
Because that's what our government does now. We can just go in and take over things.
Well,
We're
I mean, I
hey,
get
we
it.
need this.
We were attacked. I mean, it makes sense.
Well, we were kind of nice to Hawaii. We annexed them. We didn't just leave them hanging.
Yeah, true.
I mean, some would say that we weren't so nice.
No,
though.
I get it. If you're native to Hawaii,
Yeah.
you might be like, whatever they call us. I'm sure it's not.
Oh,
pleasant.
I'm sure they have some names for us.
That's
Yeah.
right.
There's people that are upset to this day too. They have not gotten over it yet. So it's definitely something pretty big. The Navy built a control tower and a terminal building, and some commercial traffic was allowed during daylight hours.
So really, the Navy was kind of who built up the airport a little bit in some ways, I guess.
I mean, out of
The
need.
start. Yeah.
out of
Right.
need.
That's interesting.
Rogers Field was returned to the territory of Hawaii in 1946 because World War II ended. At the time, it had 4,019 acres.
Wow.
And it was one of the largest airports in the United States with 4 paved land runways and 3 seaplane runways.
Well, I guess 1946. I mean, I don't know how much air travel there was. I don't know. So like it makes sense that
I mean, there was
with the war,
significant
it
air
got
travel.
The biggest push.
Especially if you were going overseas, you weren't taking a boat. And you could still take a boat in 40s.
And Hawaii is still used as like a waypoint
Yeah.
for
Yep.
all of the Navy. So
Yeah.
for most, and if you're on the West Coast, you're going to go through Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I know actually I have some friends that live this is part of this with the story. I have some friends that live outside of San Francisco, and for them going to Hawaii is like just a regular vacation.
Wow.
It's not like a big deal, where like for us here going to maybe Florida or something like that, it's like a couple hours flight, like for us going to Hawaii, if you're more on the other side of the country is like, that's a huge deal.
Right?
Yeah, it's like it's like going to London.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a
like-
flight.
yeah.
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 So how does that sound nowadays? 4 paved land runways and 3 seaplane runways. How big is that compared to like other airports?
Well,
now?
that's what O'Hare used to have, right?
Oh, okay.
We have there's a lot more now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So this would be a small airport now then. If you're saying 4 paved land runways.
it's the space in between that's probably significant.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like Dallas Fort Worth and Atlanta Airport, they're spread out, and I'm sure they're Denver. I'm sure they're many times larger. I don't know the exact square footage, but I would say they're huge.
Bigger than Midway Airport.
Midway's like a cracker.
Midway Airport is Chicago's second airport, let's say.
Yeah.
Because O'Hare gets all the traffic and everything.
Yeah.
It keeps teetering on the busiest airport in the world, right?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
O'Hare and Midway
Yeah.
to combine together
Okay.
get you way up there.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
But Midway, they have to like take it they almost have to like point the nose down straight to land the plane there. It is a tough landing there.
Well, it makes me think kind of like having an airport on an island, right? Like you're limited in how much.
But they had
like,
4,000
space.
acres.
That's crazy.
That's
They
pretty
can
big.
land big aircraft there,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Yeah.
John Rogers Airport was renamed Honolulu Airport in 1947. International being added to the name in 1951. Being near the center of the Pacific Ocean, it was a stop for many trans-Pacific flights. They did stop this for some time, and then they started doing it again. So I believe it is again doing that. By 1950, it was the 3rd busiest airport in the United States in terms of aircraft operation, and its 13,097 foot runway was the world's longest in 1953. How does that stack up to today?
I would say it's still a long runway, but it's not the longest.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. All right, in the summer of 1959, Qantas, am I saying that right? Qantas began the first jet service to Honolulu on its flights between Australia and California.
Oh.
Ever since then, it's opened up to other airlines, and several airline offer direct flights to Honolulu Airport now. In the history, there is a bunch of, and then this airline came, and then this airline, that's how a history of an airport goes, I guess. So I'm not going to go over all of those.
You're not walking us through all that? Okay.
No. On March 24th, 2006, Hawaii Governor Linda Lingle unveiled a $2.3 billion modernization program for Hawaii Airport over a 12-year period, with $1.7 billion budgeted for Honolulu's international
So
airport.
it ate up most of that budget. Wow.
Well, yeah, it's definitely the biggest one of them all, and it's an international airport as well. The plan involves implementing short-term projects within the first 5 years to improve passenger service and increase security and operational efficiencies. And as part of the modernization, flight display monitors throughout the airport were upgraded. Imagine that they had like old, like just regular TVs and stuff like that back then.
From the 50s.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, and if you're, being at this international airport and if let's say you wanted to go to the United States, but you didn't want to go all the way in, you could just go to Hawaii,
Yeah.
right, and make it to the United States.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the Japanese and
Oh,
people from that
sure.
area, they're like, well, we went to the United States because we went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what they thought of our country, though, at that point, was that this place needs to be updated. I mean, look at these tube TVs and stuff all around here. They also had new food and beverage vendors were added during that time, and a new parking garage across from the International Arrival Terminal was completed. In 2011, Hawaiian Airlines renovated the check-in lobby of the Inner Island Terminal, replacing the traditional check-in counters with 6 circular check-in islands in the middle of the lobbies, which can be used for inner island, mainland, and international flights. This renovation project was fully funded by Hawaiian Airlines and not a part of the modernization program.
Wow. So the airline itself was like updating its
They're
stuff. Well,
like-
I guess we do that at O'Hare too. Like United will update its terminal or something like
Yeah,
that. So.
yeah. By 2012, Hawaiian Airlines reestablished Honolulu International Airport as a connecting hub between the United States mainland and the Asia Pacific region. So, yeah, so it stopped sometime after 1950, but it restarted in 2012.
For a Hawaiian Airlines.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. That year, according to a Massachusetts Institute of Technology study, the airport had 24% fewer domestic departure flights than it did in 2007. During the 2016 legislative session, the Hawaii State Legislature passed a resolution requesting that the U.S. Department of Transportation rename Honolulu International Airport for the late U.S. Senator and Medal of Honor recipient Daniel Inouye. Something.
Something.
Yeah.
We get it.
I wonder how many people call it that though too. It's kind of like
Yeah.
in Chicago, we don't call the tallest building by what its actual name is.
Yeah, but we do call O'Hare and Midway.
Mm-hmm.
And when Meigs Field was around, yeah, you would call it Meigs
But if
Field.
they changed O'Hare to some other name,
We'd still call it
We'd
O'Hare,
still call it
probably.
Yeah, probably, yeah, we would. The new name first appeared in the Federal Aviation Administration documentation on April 27, 2017, and the airport was officially renamed in a ceremony at the airport on May 30th, 2017. In September 2024, the airport announced that travelers with a Hawaiian driver's license or identification card can now present a digital ID at the TSA checkpoints,
Ooh.
making Hawaii the 11th state to allow the use of digital IDs at security.
I know you were so excited about that.
I am, but O'Hare still hasn't done that
No.
Nope.
because of Illinois not having digital driver's licenses yet, but we're working on it.
It took us long enough just to get real IDs.
I will say, the last time I boarded a plane, I actually had my tickets on my Apple Watch and was able to show them just my watch.
That's crazy.
That's like, spy level thing, It's like, here, look at this.
That scares me.
I was going to say, what do you think about the digital ID?
I don't like it at all. 'Cause you could, if you're one of those little hacker guys, you could hack.
I am one of those little hacker guys.
Well, there you go. If you're
That's why I like
hacking
it.
around, you can make you could make yourself look like John Bon Jovi or whoever you think is cool. And
You don't think I look like John Bon Jovi?
No, too much beard.
Too much beard
for John. Your beard's bigger than his whole body, I think.
I think so.
Probably, yeah. But I mean, I actually like the modernization stuff. I like it when things are all modern and stuff. I like to go to Starbucks and pay for my coffee using my watch. I do all kinds of stuff like that.
I mean, I'll use my phone. I find my watch annoying to have to try to pull that up and do it, but I'll use my phone.
I use my phone.
In fact, the first time I tried, the watch wasn't working, and the guy was like, "Just grab your phone." I was like, "No, I'm going to do this. I got to get this to work."
He's like, "Listen, if I'm going to be James Bond, I need the watch to work."
I'm adopting new technology, and so are you.
As of today.
That's right.
All right. So, do you have anything to add, Anthony, to the history?
No, I would just say, as you guys have said, the airport is a hub. I mean, if you're going internationally, that's a good stop point.
Yeah, well, so is O'Hare. So, and any one of those is like a bigger airport, more traffic. I'm assuming, that they get quite busy there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are they one of the busiest airports in the world still, or did they?
No, I don't think so.
No.
You've got, like I said, Denver, Atlanta, Miami.
I think now too, like if people are flying to Asia or Australia, they're probably more likely to go out of SFO, like San Francisco, right, instead of Hawaii.
Yep.
Yeah.
Depending on how far your flight is and where you're starting at.
Right. That's true.
If you're starting in the United States, you might want a break point in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And transfer flights there.
Yeah.
So when you got off the plane there, did you get a lei? Did they give you a lei and some pineapple
actually,
juice?
That's the first time I did get a lei.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Were y'all in your Navy uniform?
I was in my Navy uniform and it was cool. It was really cool.
And did they give you like pineapple juice or something like
No,
that?
I don't get any pineapple juice.
Here's a pineapple. Just give you the whole pineapple.
Yeah, they just when you
kick
go there,
you
they
in the
just
butt?
they just kind of throw pineapples at you. And
Yeah.
hopefully you're able to catch them. Otherwise, you get stuck in the face with a pineapple.
All right. Do you have anything to add, Rebecca?
No, but I have a question. What are some of your favorite islands in Hawaii that you would recommend?
So for me,
I haven't gone. So
my favorite island is Kauai, which is the I don't know how to describe it to me, but it's like a sleepy island. So
okay.
Right around 8:00 at night, the whole island kind of shuts down. Everybody's doing what they're doing already. It's going to end soon.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of sports activities
cool.
during the day and stuff.
Oh, fun.
And it's beautiful. And I believe either, what's the guy from Facebook, he or...
Zuckerberg
or Bezos owns...
Bezos.
Bezos.
I like that. I'm going to call him Bezos from now on. Yep.
I call him Jeffy.
Yes. Either one of them owns a huge percentage of the island, and they guaranteed them that they would never develop it.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
Interesting, yeah.
Huh. I think it might be Zuckerberg, right? But that's just a trip. Sorry if we're wrong, everybody.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's cool. All right. Awesome.
Awesome. All right. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, we're going to get to the debate. All right. You ready for the debate, Rebecca?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. So let's start with what our ghost story was based on. It's the most popular ghost story about this airport.
All right.
The lady in waiting.
Not white.
Who is also dressed in white.
Oh, my God. Rebecca.
But she's called the lady in waiting.
Okay.
She is tall, slim, with long blonde hair. The story is that she was engaged to a man who decided to leave her without telling her and left by flying out on an airplane. And so she's upset and she's crying all over the airport. There's some that she killed herself, or when she died, she just ended up there. We don't know. But that she's seen all over the airport looking for him. She's seen in terminals, at gates, looking out at the runway. Sometimes, and this is where I'm interested, Anthony, sometimes she's seen in secure areas where like most people don't have clearance to go. There's not a lot of people there, and the airport employees see her there. There's also a chance that she could be the wife or fiance of a naval airman that died in a plane that was flying from Japan to the mainland, but they started having problems and they were going to try to land at Hawaii, but then instead of landing, they crashed into the mountains. Like, this is a real thing that happened. But that whether or not like this ghost is from there, obviously.
This is gonna be one of the hardest
decision.
parts for me with these episodes, is talking about airplanes crashing.
I know.
Because I fear that every time I get on a plane. So a funny story, I was taking a plane with Mondo, and Mondo was really, I'm sorry, he was afraid. I don't mean to say that about Mondo. He was, and I told him that I got him. I was like, I got you. We're gonna just talk our way through it, and we'll be fine.
This is Mondo of the Waverly Hills?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So then we got on the plane, and Mondo was fine. And he looks over at me, and I said, yeah, I didn't tell you I'm afraid of flying. And I was like shaking, holding on to both the armrest there. And I was like, okay, let's just get this over with. And he was fine the whole time. So
I'm the opposite. When I get on a plane, my goal is to go to sleep immediately.
Yeah, I can't sleep on a plane. That you're there.
Yeah, right. I flew for work for like 6 years. I would fly like usually at least twice a month, sometimes more. And at first it was just like, no, whatever, no big deal. This is what I do every day. It just becomes routine. But then actually the more years it went, for some reason, I actually started to get more nervous. I think because you start to think like, okay, what are the odds? Well, you know what? The odds are increasing the more I'm flying, because like, if you're only flying every so often, it's safer in a plane than in a car, but the more you fly. Okay. Well, anyway, so what do we think about the lady in waiting?
Okay. Well, I'm going to let Anthony go first as our guest.
Well, so my thoughts are, she needs to move on. I mean,
yes, I agree.
Really needs to move on.
She does.
The guy left her at the airport.
Okay.
I mean,
what about if she's listening? Maybe you should send her a message.
If you're listening, hook up with somebody else. I mean, sincerely, what are you waiting for? The guy ain't coming back, man. He smashed in a mountain. He's rubble.
But if it's a Navy guy, I mean, I get it.
I get it.
They're special.
Yeah. Well,
sure.
Okay. So my thoughts on this is that, as I said, there's a million times you're going to see someone in an airport turn around and they're gone because people walk super fast in the airports. Nowadays, too, they have the moving sidewalks, so they could just jump on one of those and be across the whole airport in like minutes. Especially if you like walk. Like, I didn't know, if you just stand on those things, you're going about the same pace as everybody going by you. But if you start walking, you're like flying through the airport. You're like a rocket. It's dangerous. You could hurt someone.
There's a lot of incidences of people smashing their face on the end of that.
I'm sure there is.
There is.
I'm sure there is.
That's why they have that little sound that says,
"Oh yeah,
the moving runway is now ending."
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, because especially if you're not walking, if you're just standing, you're just not paying attention.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there's warning on like Tide Pods now because of all the Tide Pod incidents. Eventually we're just going to have, there's not going to be logos or anything like that. It's just going to be warnings over the whole thing. You read the warning to figure out what the product is.
Well,
so I'm going to go 0 on this one, Rebecca.
All right. So, and is this at, the people falling over on their face. I'm sorry. I'm still picturing that. Is it because they get distracted looking around?
Right, they're looking around. They see all the lights, especially at O'Hare.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They see a
That's what I
blonde
was
woman
thinking
waiting.
of.
They see the blonde woman.
Exactly.
All the guys are,
Hey, what's
it's
she
mostly
doing
men
here?
who are smashing their faces, by the way.
I'm sure it is.
Women
yeah.
don't care.
So what do you think? Do you think she exists, the lady in waiting?
I
Do you think that could happen?
I see somebody waiting for somebody for a military guy and having their heart broke because the guy never shows up.
Yeah,
I could
right.
see
Okay,
that.
well, 0 to 10, 10 being the most haunted this could ever be, 0 being not at all haunted. Where do you sit on
I
this
gotta
one?
go with I'll go with like a 6 on
6,
this one.
okay.
Yeah,
6
I think a
pretty
6
high.
is about right. I'm gonna go 6 as well.
All
Like a
right.
little bit, yeah, but like there's not a ton of evidence on it, so yeah.
Okay.
All right, now we're about to get some of my favorite pieces of evidence
Oh, okay.
this whole
All right.
episode. Okay, next favorite. Supposedly, the bathrooms are haunted.
Of course they are.
Not sure if it's just one bathroom or all of them. Like it really wasn't clear.
Is
from
there
the
a Taco
research.
Bell in the airport? That would explain all of it right there.
So basically, people say like it's like a Hawaiian like poltergeist kind of person, or like someone's like it's like Moaning Myrtle from Harry Potter. But okay, so one of the claims is that the toilets flush on their own when no one is there. There are also reports of toilet paper unraveling itself and the toilet seats slamming down on their own. And this is by airport employees, right? So like they're cleaning the bathroom, they're working on it, and like the toilets start flushing by themselves. Toilet paper is unraveling.
How many
and
cats
toilet
are in
seats
there?
There's no cats. It's at an
You
airport.
sure?
Yes. And now I also found one claim like of a person who said they were waiting by a gate and they heard the toilets flushing a lot, even though no one appeared to be going in or out.
Okay. So, Anthony, I'm going to let you go first.
I think this is a pure case of physics. I think the guy put the toilet paper on the roll backwards, so it just rolls out to
Which
the
is the
floor.
wrong way to do it.
Right.
What is the thing?
Absolutely.
It's like mullets or what?
Beards are cool, mullets are not. Exactly.
Beards? Okay.
So, and then you've got the toilets flushing automatically. They all flush automatically.
yeah, they
now.
do. Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially
Yeah,
since
I don't
the
know
renovation.
the time frame on this, but they're
So
definitely
supposed to have
broken if
ghosts
they're going
create,
off on their own.
Yeah.
Ghosts doing their business in
Yeah.
there. And,
Ghosts do their business in every airport.
Yeah,
All of
right.
them flush like that.
Yeah, right.
It's to
So-
keep it sanitary.
Yeah, but if there's not people in there,
Yeah, well, it flushes at a certain time.
no, that's not how
They are
work.
timed too.
All right,
Yes, they
listeners, please let us know. Do they just randomly go off? No.
are. They do. I've been in bathrooms when they randomly go off, and I was not using the bathroom at that time.
That's probably so they don't stink. So
Yeah, it is.
When the air, you got the air conditioner, it sucks all the
Moisture.
gases out of the sewer pipes and stuff,
Ooh.
and that's when it stinks real
Ugh.
bad.
Okay, yeah, but
right,
have-
then you have to pour
And the Taco
water
Bell?
down the drain.
Have you ever gone into a bathroom though and someone didn't flush? Yes, you have, because they don't. It's not like a light
'Cause
that's
they're
with a
nasty.
sensor where like it
Mhm.
just still goes even if no one's there. Like,
Okay.
anyways, I am gonna say haunted. I'm giving it an 8
An 8.
because I want it to be true.
Oh, because you want. Okay. What do you give it, Anthony?
I'm gonna give it a 1.5. There's
Oh.
no-
I'm going to
No
allow
way.
the half because it's a guess.
He's
So
usually strict on that, but
yeah, I
okay.
usually don't allow halves,
All
but I'm
right.
going to go 0 on this one. 0 and a half is 0, which is 0,
True.
right?
It's true. Right.
All right.
Now we're gonna go a little bit one more.
One more.
One more in
Okay.
the bathroom.
Oh,
okay.
no.
So same person who.
Well, at least we're not going 2 more in the bathroom.
Yeah,
Never
exactly. Okay. So same person who heard the toilets flushing. So this is Ghost Casebook is the channel. Okay. Links will be in the bio or in the down below, right? Okay. The same person who said she heard the toilets flushing also told another story that happened to her in a bathroom in the Honolulu Airport. So she was in there and there were 5 stalls. She was the only one in there, right? So she's using the facilities, right? And she hears the door open and she hears somebody walk by and go to the last stall. She hears the stall door close, right? And then she finishes her business and comes out and she's washing her hands. And I don't know why, but she like noticed that the door wasn't like shut, but she's like, but I heard somebody come and like just go in there like 2 seconds ago. And so she looks and she kind of looks underneath and there were no no legs in there. So then she kind of like looked in and there was no person. And she's like, I mean, is it theoretically possible that they like tiptoed out of there? She didn't hear them, but she's like, it would be very crazy that somebody could have come in, walked in, and then as she heard them walking in, why wouldn't she have heard them walking out?
Okay. All right. What do you think, Anthony?
I think that there's a big drug problem in Hawaii.
Yeah, there is definitely.
Might have been doing something, little cocaine, something. I don't know. Whatever people do nowadays. I'm not hip to all that stuff.
Well, I'm going to go a little simpler. I'm going to say it was a smoker. Smoker in the bathroom climbed up on the stall to smoke so that no one would see their legs and wonder if there was someone in there. You're looking at me like it's crazy. This happens
crazy.
all the time.
I think she would have smelled that.
Have you ever gone to high school?
Yes, and I would smell the smoke. Trust me.
But then you would see her getting down would be really hard, right? To be quiet.
No, it's not on the tippy top. It's just on the stall. All you got to do is, I mean, she's not getting down while the woman's in there. She waits till the woman leaves and then she gets down.
But she went to...
Yeah, she looked.
Either that or someone was doing adult activities in there, and I'm not going to get into this.
Well, she said the door was not shut. Like, she heard it shut and locked, but then when she came out, it wasn't.
I think she's mistaken. I think this woman goes to extremes to prove these bathrooms being haunted, and this is all that she...
I mean, she admits that it could just... Maybe she somehow missed this person leaving.
Yeah, she did.
But
she did.
I think...
Or she missed the person coming in there.
All right. What's your rating then?
Mine is 0. She was on her cell phone.
All right, Anthony, what do you think?
I think there's maybe a hint 2. I'll go 2.
2.
Ooh. I'm going to give this one a 6.
Okay.
Yes. All right, here we go. So, couple more. Another popular ghost story. So there's the woman in waiting.
All right.
And then there's the ghost that haunts the Wiki shuttle. Have you taken the Wiki shuttle?
The Wiki shuttle.
Wiki shuttle. I guess it's like it's the transportation that gets you around the airport.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It sounds like a bad song.
I thought you were talking about
Wiki Shuffle.
The Disney show with all the birds.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Okay.
All right, so you've been on the Wiki Shuffle.
The Wiki shuttle.
Shuttle.
Yes.
Okay.
So I thought it was like, because some airports have like, like almost like trams or like like Orlando. Like Orlando, like an L train
Yeah,
or whatever you would call that, an elevator train. But this sounds like it's buses, maybe, or something.
I think it's like an open, kind
Vestibule?
of like Disney. You know how they have the monorail?
Yeah,
kind of
monorail.
car that kind of
Yeah.
I think that's what they kind of have. Something
Gotcha,
like that.
something like that. Okay. So here's a story that I found that's sort of it's kind of related to this, connected to this. So I thought this would be more interesting than just a vague thing. All right. So this was an airport employee, and I found this. It was a comment made on the video channel Fright Night, username SUEL.4129. Sewell 4129. And this person says, I used to work there and I only ran into one ghost. I saw him while I was walking towards the gate 31. He was a middle-aged security guard and I was following him because we were both going the same direction. He was about 20 feet in front of me. When we reached the end of the walkway, he turned the corner. He was out of my sight for about 3 seconds when I turned the same corner and he was gone. There was a glass automatic door that was locked. There was no place he could have gone. When I approached the door, it was trying to open, but the lock prevented it. There was no way he could have opened the door and then turned around and locked it again in that short time. I ran back to the previous door that was open to see if I could see him on the outside, but all I found was a waiting Wiki shuttle driver sitting in his shuttle on her break. I asked her if she saw a guard in a brown uniform. She said no. I was creeped out, so I took the shuttle back to the main terminal and finished my shift.
All right, Anthony, you're up first.
So again, I gotta be wondering what they must have like good
spam,
star fruit or spam or some good stuff there.
Hopefully this guy's working. He's not on anything.
Yeah, but I mean, the guy hangs a left and he's gone. Yeah, something All
right.
Just like, give me a break. I think the guy, like I said, these guys are. You know what? I think they got good weed in Hawaii too. Now I'm thinking about it.
Now, Anthony, on the Resurrection Revisited, you told some stories about some things that you've seen. What would you think if someone was like, he was just on the ganja?
I would think that they were probably thinking like I'm thinking. That's what I think.
All right. Well, so one thing that instantly came to my mind is it would suck to die at work and then have to relive work all the time for the eternity.
Totally. Yes, it would.
But no, this guy didn't. This rando security guard didn't die at work. He turned the corner. He went in there. She wasn't paying attention enough. I'm sorry. 0.
All right, I'm gonna give it a 6 again because
Okay.
I do think, I don't know.
Where are you at, Anthony?
I'm at a 2 again.
2? Okay.
2 zone.
So a double deuce because you just gave a
deuce.
2
Double
there and
deuce.
now 2 here. Okay.
All right, last one. I could not mention this one. There's another ghost they talk about sometimes called the choking ghost. So people report feeling something, either like sitting on their chest or with hands around their necks, choking them in the airport. Some have even had people like call for help for them because they're like choking. But then by the time help comes, the feeling is gone and they're fine. So it's weird because like this is the kind of thing we usually hear about when like, I don't know, like sleep paralysis or something like that, but they're in the airport.
Yeah. All right, Anthony, you're up first.
So now choking, I could believe, right? Because you know, if I
You got pineapple lodged in your throat.
Well, I one time went to Culver's and I got a piece of chicken stuck in my throat and I could not get it out.
Scary.
I could not get it out. So my wife couldn't get it out. So she asked someone in the restaurant, can anybody help? So this big muscle dude.
Me?
You?
It was me, yeah.
Grabbed me and popped it out. He popped it out, but he also cracked the sternum in my chest.
Oh my gosh.
So I had to wait. It took like 6-7 months for that to heal.
Yeah.
I'm
But he saved
grateful.
your life, though.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
he saved my
obviously.
life,
Yeah.
That's like the Good Samaritan thing that,
Yeah.
he can't be criminally charged because he was trying to help you.
I didn't want to charge him. I
Yeah.
wanted to thank him.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I tried to buy him a meal. He
Yeah,
was
get him some custard.
I was happy to do that.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't go for it. So
Oh.
All right. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the sleep paralysis. So at an airport, there's a lot of waiting going on. You're waiting for your flight. You usually get there like an hour beforehand. You sit there. You might doze off a little. Sleep paralysis can kick in. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. It's not something I've heard at other airports though. So it just seems weird.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's the way that the seats are. Maybe that's more conductive to it. I don't know. It depends if like the angle that you're laying, maybe. I don't know.
That's
I don't know
interesting.
exactly
All right. Well, maybe
what
we'll
causes
see what
that.
comes up with other airports as we're
Yeah, but I'm going to go
investigating.
0 on this one because there seems to be a plausible reason for it. So
What do you think, Anthony?
I'm going up there 5.
5.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I'll go 5 as well. I think it's
All right.
possible. Don't know.
All right. What would be your overall rating then, Rebecca?
So my overall rating, I think I'm going to go 6.
Okay.
I had a few higher, a few lower.
Yeah, you had an 8 there.
I had an 8 in there,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll go 6
All
for
right.
overall as an
So
haunted.
if I'm going to average,
Yeah.
which is
yeah.
a mathematical term,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with 3.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. I'm going to go 0.
Oh,
'Cause
really?
Average.
Average.
Thing, yeah.
Now, real quick, before we move on, Anthony, any ghosty stories related to airports that you have experienced or know anyone that's experienced? Because
So-
I know you got stories, so I'm
got
just checking
stories.
in.
I do have a story.
Look at his little smile.
He's
Prepared to
ready
be
for
freaked
this.
out. All right, I'm ready.
So while I was a young man and I was working at
Culver's.
one of the airlines,
Yes.
Yeah.
I took a baggage loader into the parking lot to get my lunch.
Oh, okay. Because
Not
you
a
want to
good
walk.
idea.
Yeah.
Not a good idea, but I did it
But it's
anyways.
it's a far hike though,
It's a far hike, and those things go like 40 miles an hour. So
Oh
I was
yeah, there you
Wow.
go.
flying down
Because you were
road.
hungry.
Yeah, I was hungry.
Yeah, you have
I
to
wanted
get your lunch
my
in time.
I had to
Yeah.
get my lunch. So I got out of the baggage loader and I got out. All of a sudden, bam! Like the end of the baggage loader gets hit by a bus. Boosh,
Whoa.
right? Now, I swear that I had it parked far enough back. And this bus came in and smashed the bejesus out of this thing.
Oh my God.
no.
So it smashed the end of the loader. It smashed into the little cul-de-sac thing where the bus stop.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Smashed into it.
How was your lunch, though?
Smashed my lunch was fine. Actually. I ate the lunch and I did get some. What would you call it? Reprimand.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if you got in
There was a
trouble.
reprimand.
Yeah.
But I still swear to this day that
Something happened.
Something pushed
happened
it,
because
yeah.
that thing was way.
Is there
far
gears on
away.
that? Can you put it in reverse or anything?
You could put it in reverse. Yeah.
Is
you
there
could
a
put it in
park?
reverse. You could put the belt on. brrr, You could
Oh, okay.
launch stuff off the belt. We used to do
Oh.
all that stuff.
But maybe you didn't put it in park. Maybe that's
We
what
don't
want
want to know what you're doing with
It
the
could
baggage.
maybe have happened, but
I mean, I've done it before where I put the car in neutral and took my keys out and then tried to start it up again and it's not starting or something, and I'm like, or it's in drive still. I've done that.
I've done that.
And I'm like, why won't this car start? I've actually called people to come out, like, and tow the car. And then they're like, oh, here, I'm just going to put it in park for you. And then they start it up. It's like,
I think it was like karma. I think there was like I wasn't supposed to be taking
Yeah.
that belt down there, and I took it down there and I got caught.
Yeah.
you did, yeah.
I did. I got caught.
Did you ever do it again?
I'm going to say no, but that's a lie.
All right. So that brings us to the closing arguments. This is our last chance to convince you to vote our way. We're each given 1 minute of uninterrupted time. Rebecca's going to time me and Anthony, and I'm going to time her. So, Rebecca, are you ready?
I am ready.
And away you go.
All right. So the Honolulu Airport is an interesting concept to say it's haunted. There's no like theme. There's no like, oh, this one accident happened and that's where the ghosts come from. But I think there's enough stories about it that make it interesting for being haunted. With this, I tried to bring not just the general stories, but also specific stories that people have told. So, is it haunted? I think so. I mean, I'm not sure exactly who is doing the haunting, but I think there's definitely some activity happening there. That island, we have not explored Hawaii enough. We're going to be doing more of that, I think, in the future. But I think it's haunted. I think, again, there's some specific people that have seen things that we were able to pull for this, and just a lot of stories out there.
All right. You had 5 seconds left,
Thank
Rebecca.
you.
All right. Anthony, you want to take a minute?
Sure.
All right.
So you want to go first? Or you want Pat to go first?
Either way, you guys just cue me in and I'm in.
Okay. Say either way again, though.
Either way.
Okay. You can go ahead.
All right. So if you've ever flown into Honolulu Airport, you'll know that you're out at sea and there's nothing there. I mean, it's just nothing there. You can't see any lights. You can't see anything. You could see the stars from the inside the aircraft. You can look out and see how beautiful it is. And then all of a sudden, boom, there's Honolulu Airport. If spirits were going to be trapped anywhere, they'd be trapped in Hawaii, right? If something goes wrong in Hawaii, it's staying there. There's nowhere for them to go. I mean, I don't know, ghost lore, but I don't think they can fly over the ocean all the way to the other side. It's just my thing. They're stuck there. So if I'm saying you could get stuck and an island can be haunted, I would say Honolulu is definitely the place where it could be.
Nice.
All right.
All right. Let me get ready here. Okay. And are you ready, Pat?
Yeah.
Here we go.
If you were a detective trying to figure out like a crime or something, you'd want to know who, what, where, why, and when. None of those questions were explored in this episode. We don't know who, we don't know what, we don't know why, we don't know when. We have no information at all in these episodes. We're taking the word of somebody that stalks the Hawaiian bathrooms for potty monsters or something like that. And we have no We have no evidence here. This is ridiculous. I'm gonna have to say that this is not haunted. And I would like to challenge Rebecca to come up with some this month that have some real evidence.
Whoa. First of all, I think we have met that threshold. But second of all, you just wait.
I am waiting.
We're definitely starting with the latest,
The mildest
one for sure. And by the way, there was definitely a what, okay, that we talked about.
If
All right.
you're sitting here observing, they're throwing daggers at each other with their eyeballs. So just be aware of that.
All right. I want to thank everyone so much for listening. Please share us with your friends and family, as word of mouth is our best advertisement. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. We have our VIP producers, so I'd like to give a shout out to them. We have Andrew,
Alicia,
Becky,
Cindy,
Kevin,
Jessica,
Alice,
Aaron,
Hope.
and Candy.
On the next episode of Ghostly, we're going to be talking about O'Hare Airport.
And it comes out next week.
Yes, October 16th. Anthony, thank you so much for coming on. I know you have an improv show coming up. Do you know the dates of that show?
I believe it is
End of October,
the end
right?
of October. It's like the 26th, 27th, 28th, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's going to be at Side Street Studio Arts in Elgin?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
and it's going to
3
be
shows.
Halloween based, right?
Halloween based.
What are
definitely.
we calling these shows? Do we have a name for them?
Murder.
Murder.
Just murder.
Whoa, just murder. I mean,
Wow.
wow.
Are you
that's
going
a
to be
lot.
in these shows, Pat?
I don't know. It depends if Anthony casts me in them.
Absolutely, he's going to cast him because he's a good improviser.
All
right. Let him on there.
All right. Well, thank you again so much for coming on. It really means a lot that you left your house and came over here and everything to talk about airports with us. We really appreciate that. And
Go vote, everybody.
yeah, go vote on if this is real or not. I mean, vote in multiple ways.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This is the month to go do your early voting.
Yeah.
And is your month to vote for Ghostly.
Yeah, go do all the votes.
All the votes.
About everything.
There you go.
Yeah. Until next time, stay ghostly.
Bye.
Bye.